Hello, today we are going to learn about instances. So far, we have talked about classes and how they serve as blueprints for creating objects. But when we actually use a class to create something, what we get is called an instance. Each instance is a unique object that follows the structure and behavior defined in the class, but has its own specific values. Let's use an analogy to understand this better. Imagine you have a mold to make cookies. The mold itself is like a class. It provides the shape and structure, but it's not an actual cookie. When you press the mold into the dough, you create individual cookies. Each cookie is an instance of the mold. Even though they are made from the same shape, each cookie is separate and can have its own unique characteristics, like decorations or size variations. Now let's apply this idea to programming. Suppose we create a class called car. This class acts as a template for all cars, but each actual car we create from it is a separate instance. To make a car instance, we need to define attributes for our car class. Let's say we want each car to have a name. When we create a car, we will give it a specific name and store that name inside the object. To do this, we define an init function inside the class. The init function is a special function that runs automatically when a new instance is created. It allows us to set up the attributes for that specific instance. Inside init, we define a parameter called name, which will hold the name of the car. Then, we use self.name to assign the given name to the instance. Now let's create an actual car. We will call it Bumblebee. We create a car object using our car class and pass Bumblebee as the name. When we print mycar.name, we see the output Bumblebee. This confirms that our car instance was successfully created and holds the name we assigned to it. But a real car is more than just a name. Cars have different models, colors, and years. So let's expand our car class to include more details. We will modify the init function to accept model, color, year, and name as parameters. Then, we will store each of these values inside the instance using self. Now, when we create a car, we provide all four details. For example, let's create a car that is a Ford F-150 Lightning, has a blue color, was made in 2023, and is named Thunder. To make this even more useful, let's add a function inside the class that introduces the car. We will create a method that returns a sentence describing the car. This function will use self to access the attributes of the instance. When we call this method on our car instance, it prints the details of our car in a clear sentence. Now we see the power of instances. Even though all cars follow the same car class structure, each one is unique. We can create as many instances as we want, and each one can have different details. For example, we can create another car that is a Tesla Model Y, has a white color, was made in 2022, and is named Snowflake. When we call the introduction function, it describes this new car with its own unique attributes. In summary, an instance is an actual object created from a class. Each instance has its own values, even though it follows the same structure as the other instances of the class. This allows us to create multiple unique objects using the same blueprint. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next lesson.